3,000! History with an exclamation point! For three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Yankees are champions of baseball!
Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1009 of BD4. We are going to discuss somebody who I was trying to cover for a bit now, and then we just got busy with the Knicks and did a lot of Yankees profiling and previewing, and then he debuted in spring. He made his spring debut a couple of days ago, and we wanted to touch on it right then. But again, the Knicks had just gotten back from the All-Star break, and we were just busy with that. So we're going to do something here on the Knicks' day off. And tonight, we are going to talk about one of the more popular players in the system. He has quickly become a fan favorite prospect. And, he kind of blew up midway through the season last year where, they just they brought his name up on the telecast, and more Yankees fans on social media started tweeting about him, and now everybody knows him. Everybody knows his name. Not everybody says his name correctly, but I think that's been more clear now that we are watching broadcasts of him, and that is Carlos Lagrange. A 6'7", 6'7", 248-pound frame pitcher. Big dude. The number one prospect in the Yankees system. The number 79 prospect on the MLB pipeline. He's huge. So he's got a big fastball plus secondary pitches. And he's coming off a solid 2025 season where he split time between High A Hudson Valley and Double A Somerset. With Hudson Valley, he posted a 4.10 ERA, 41 2/3 innings pitched, 64 strikeouts, a 103 whip. With Double A Somerset, when he got promoted, 3.22 ERA, 78 1/3 innings, 104 strikeouts, a 129 whip. So overall, between the two affiliates, posted a 3.53 ERA across 120 innings, 168 strikeouts, that's a 33% K rate, and a 1.20 whip. So very strong season in Double-A, very strong season overall, and now he has a chance, maybe at some point this season, if things do go well at the AAA level, to make his big league debut. At least that's what a lot of us are hoping, but for now we get to watch him in spring training. And he pitched the other day, as we said, in that 20-3 win over the Tigers. Was it 20-3 or was it even more than that? I don't know. But the kid's got the stuff. He has an insane four-seam fastball. It's easily the best fastball in the Yankee system. It sits in triple digits consistently, tops out at 103. He threw it 103 last year a few times. He struck out Aaron Judge in, a scrimmage or whatever it was, throwing a 103 heater to him. But he consistently sits in triple digits, and it's, like they say, it's easy gas. It comes out of his arm easily. It's this downhill motion, and the fastball, not only does it carry a lot of velocity, but it's got a lot of ride, a ton of ride to it. It's, been compared to Nick Pivetta, to Robert Suarez, I've heard. And it's got a little bit of run on it too. You saw the other day, that thing has this two-seam action on it. I don't know if he holds it in a two-seam grip at times, or if it's just a four-seamer with a lot of run, but it's got action on it that both goes up and he can tail it. And then he's got two variations of a slider. Two different sliders where he's got this slower sweeper, this slurve type pitch, which it's impressively good separation in velocity between the sweeper and the four-seamer for a guy who throws hard. It's good separation because it's around low 80s in velo, but that pitch has more horizontal movement, so it's more for righties. But he's also got this gyro slider with more north to south type break that can work for lefties too. And you saw him go to that a little bit the other day. We'll talk about that pitch because there's a specific one that broke and I was just wowed. And he also has a rapidly developing changeup, which is also considered the best changeup in the system. This is a pitch that sits 91, 92. He threw one at 93 the other day. So I am wondering, again, kind of like with the four-seamer that has some ride, if this changeup kind of gets mistaken for a changeup at times and he's gripping it two-seam and it just looks like, I wonder how different it is. But it's got heavy fade. It falls off the table against lefties. But he can go to it to righties too. We saw this the other day, and we'll talk more about that right now in a sec. But the changeup is his pitch. It got so much better last year, and it's become a huge swing and miss pitch for him. I believe between both levels last year, he had a 40% whiff rate with the changeup. So he is exciting. The thing about him and his pitch mix is that everything plays off the fastball, right? He's a pitcher with a consistently high release point, and you pair that with the elite velocity, and you pair that with pitches that move all around the map, right? North to south, east to west. He's got pitches that go in all types of directions. You pair all of that together, and that makes it so tough to know what's coming, right? It's much more difficult to get an early read on the baseball, and you're often going to be getting late reads on it when it comes out of his hand and it has that late break. And again, the significant separation in velocity between his fastball and some of his secondaries also just adds to that difficulty. You can't just sit fastball. This is not a guy who throws 100 miles an hour but doesn't have off speed. His off speed is very potent. So you can't just sit there and be like, all right, I'll just, I'll wait and then I'll pounce on it. No. Pause. He has all types of good stuff. You saw in the first inning against the lefty Colby Keith on Saturday, he goes 2 sweepers in a row for 2 called strikes, and then he goes 0-2 changeup low and away. He gets him swinging for strike 3. The swing didn't even come close. The bat wasn't even close to touching the baseball. He sits him down. The very next at bat to end the inning, changeup in the same exact spot, but this is to the righty Rogers. So he's not afraid to go to either side with it. He gets him to strike out swinging. In the second inning, Pitching Ninja put this up on his Twitter. Really cool sequence where he goes against the righty Valencia. He goes 102 at the letters for a swing and miss. Then he goes with this insane sweeping slider, slurve, curve, whatever the hell you want to call it, the sweeper that he has. A sweeper with insane break and late break, just very late break, that drops in for a called strike because it completely froze Valencia. He had no clue what it was coming off the 102. 20 inches of break on that pitch alone horizontally. And then he follows that up with a 102 mile an hour pitch. It had sink, it had run. He goes down and in. It was a ball. Who cares? Just an insane sequence that's just going to make hitters totally uncomfortable against him. So he finishes his first spring outing 2 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a home run. So that's what I want to talk about is some of the negative from that, because there are questions regarding Carlos Lagrange, and we'll talk about those questions when we return from break. Stay with us.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Episode 1009 of BD4. I appreciate you all tuning into the podcast. So yeah, the excitement is certainly real. Electric stuff, big arm, live arm, whatever adjective you want to use. Again, Lagrange finishes his first spring outing. We'll read it again here. 2 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a home run. So those final 4 statistics there, you don't love. And that's the thing. People are still wondering what he is. I don't think they're questioning his talent. I think everybody knows the talent's there. But is he going to be a starting pitcher? Is he going to be a starting pitcher in this league? Is he going to be a relief pitcher in this league? Is he going to be a closing pitcher? He has the full pitch mix to attack both sides of the plate, right? He's got the changeup that he can go to lefties with. He's got the sliders that he can use to righties. Sometimes he'll put some cut on that fastball to a lefty. Sometimes he'll tail it into a righty. So he has all these types of pitches. Again, he's got the north to south slider. So now I'm not concerned about his potential as a starting pitcher in that aspect. But what I am concerned about with Carlos Lagrange is if he has the command to be a starting pitcher. That is going to be his swing skill that either puts him in the pen or gives him a shot at becoming a starter. Will it avoid him from getting swing and miss at the big league level? If you're not locating your spots consistently, you're not going to get whiffs. You're not going to get chase. You become predictable. Inconsistent location can lead to hard contact. It can lead to extra base hits. When you throw this hard, you can afford to miss some spots here and there, especially 103, but when you consistently miss spots, you also put guys on base with walks. And walks add traffic. And that turns those mistake pitches that you make into multi-run innings because a solo home run becomes a 3-run home run. So that to me is the last piece of the puzzle for Carlos Lagrange. That's what he's got to work on and develop at the AAA level. But if the command comes around, the ceiling that this kid has as a starting pitcher is obviously high. And if the command remains what it is, in my opinion, the floor is still pretty high as a relief pitcher. Which I do think that, if we're talking long term, I do like the idea of this kid coming out of the bullpen. He's obviously received a lot of Dellin Betances comparisons because of his frame, because of a big fastball, because of the big sweeper. Betances was one of the few guys who threw a sweeper before it was called a sweeper. So that's been a comparison you're hearing. But I do think the floor is high. At worst, it could be a high leverage reliever. I really do think his stuff is good enough to where even the flaws might not matter that much. But yeah, right now it's just let's get through spring healthy. Let's show us what you have and work down in AAA with the Patriots for a little while there. He's got 0 innings of experience down there in AAA. So no, Patriots is AA. I'm drawing a blank here, but He's got 0 innings of experience down there, so he's going to be a minute. But I am hoping that he advances quickly through the system and kind of pulls the Cam Schlittler route. And, Cam came in what, August? Hopefully second half. I'm thinking. If he can get into the big leagues and be a part of this bullpen maybe, or maybe we have some injuries in the rotation, knock on wood, or whatever happens, just be a part of this team in the second half. I think that would be really fun to save some other arms and, again, to add more velocity to this pitching staff. Carlos Lagrange is exciting. Yankees fans have only seen him pitch for 2 2/3 innings, and they are already flipping out. So just imagine when the sample size increases that much more. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on Carlos Lagrange. I'm thrilled to have him part of this organization. It's funny. This was like the middle of last season. I always talk about how the Yankees need more velocity. It's like the middle of the season last year. It was one Sunday. It was like a day game. My brother and I sitting on the couch watching the game. We're just shooting the shit as the Yankees are probably losing because we were like shit talking them. So I'm assuming they were losing and talking about like, how can this team get more velo? Do they have anybody down the system who throws hard? And I'm like, hey, go on your phone and look up some of their prospects and tell me if you find any of them who throw hard. And this is before we knew who Carlos Lagrange was. And he's like, oh, I found one. Oh, who's this kid? And this was before anybody was talking about him. We kind of just found this kid, and he's like, he threw 103, it says, and he hovers 98. So I'm like, call this kid up right now. And in a joking way, because I was like, all right, he's probably not that good because we've never heard of him. And like, if he was that good, we'd he'd be closer to the bigs. And all of a sudden, the kid's the talk of the town. So it's funny how that works out. Same thing kind of happened with Cam Schlittler. Nobody really knew who he was. He wasn't like a top ranked prospect at the time. Comes up and he's now a big part of their future, hopefully. Throws 8 innings of shutout ball against the Red Sox in the playoffs, right? Eliminates them. So do you have another type of that in Carlos Lagrange here in 2026? Is he your Cam Schlittler? We'll see. So with that said, I do appreciate you all for tuning in. And I got my Aaron Judge WBC jersey. It's the real authentic one. It's got 99 on the back. It's got the name on the back of the jersey too, which threw me off. I know. It's funny I say that with Mantle sitting in the background, the nameplate on it. But Carlos Lagrange, what do you think? Are you excited? I appreciate you all tuning in, and I'll see you in the next show. Later. Hey guys, thank you for listening to BD4. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.